All right, guys. Hope y'all are doing well, and I appreciate y'all tuning in to this solo dolo episode. So this is JOJ episode 71, and a lot's happened the past couple of days, specifically the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And this episode might be a little bit brief, but wanted to speak my mind about it. First of all, Charlie Kirk was a person that I looked up to. He was a brave person who spoke the truth. And he got in the public, went to a ton of college campuses and changed the minds of young people that were indoctrinated by these campuses. So he was a very influential person for the youth. I can't recall the last time I saw a video online that affected me in such a way. There's something about seeing something so graphic that, it was accessible. Everyone saw that video within 15, 20 minutes of when he was shot in Utah. Now, they've since caught the alleged suspect, the shooter, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. What radicalized him to think that going to a debate, speech, whatever you want to call it, and taking someone's life that has a family, children, and committing this act of murder and terrorism, what radicalized this person to do that? Now, I have just listened to a podcast that Tucker Carlson did with a doctor who worked at the FDA and stuff about SSRIs and big pharma. That's a theory. When someone takes an SSRI, they're effectively numbing their emotions and they're changing their brain chemistry in such a way that can make someone go crazy. It's a side effect. I mean, it just seems so unbelievable that a 22-year-old kid at this point, I mean, he's an adult, but could take such an action. And there's a lot of weird things that happened with this assassination. There's the two men next to Charlie that were doing hand signals, touching their hat, sticking their arm out. A lot of weird alleged military hand signals to take the shot. And then the kid jumps off the building, hurts his ankle, and runs into the woods. One thing I wanted to say was this Bible verse that kept coming up for me. And funny enough, I read this verse for the first time. I'm reading the Bible for the first time. So I read this verse yesterday. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, I believe. And I'm going to butcher this, but essentially it states that we do not fight in this fight against flesh and blood. We fight against the rulers of this world, the authorities of the evilness and the darkness that's controlling this world right now. Sit there and think about what that verse means. And if you're a Christian, if you believe in God, you also believe that the devil, this is his playground. He rules the material world. And this battle is much deeper than left versus right, us versus them. It's literally good versus evil. And I think a lot of times it's easy to point the finger at another person or another group and call them the enemy. I've certainly done that in the past. The problem with that is that it dehumanizes people. This person who took out Charlie Kirk, he thought that Charlie Kirk was evil, that he was a Nazi or whatever. Could he not see that he's a father? Could he not see the humanity in Charlie Kirk? Or the humanity in himself? Like, will we find out answers if this kid was on SSRIs? Will we find out answers about what videos was he watching before this? What's his search history? Are people going to come out and explain, like, yeah, he was off. We tried telling people about this kid, but it just fell through. Are we going to find those things out? So, kind of continuing on from that earlier point, this kid in his mind thought that this person on stage was evil, just like the same person Thomas Crooks thought Donald Trump was evil. And when you think that and you make that conviction in your mind, then the resulting action in their mind's justified, because they have no moral framework. So here's the deal. Like, pick anyone in your mind that you think's evil. And this is an interesting thought experiment. Like, let's take a Dr. Fauci, allegedly responsible for a lot of evil things that have happened recently and in the past. Like, if he's assassinated, if someone like a Hitler's assassinated, are we justified in being happy that that person was taken out and was murdered? No. Murder is wrong. See, that's the thing. When you have a moral framework, which Charlie was teaching people about, based in the truth in the Bible, then those sorts of questions are easily answered. There's a lot of people that I've seen I haven't seen, but I've heard. I'm not on social media anymore, that have cheered for this event happening. They've enjoyed the fact that a man was murdered and his wife now doesn't have her husband. The children have to grow up and without a father. They cheered for that. There's people on acquaintances on social media going back and forth in the DMs that have been made public, like talking about, oh yeah, he was for this, he's a Nazi, he's a fascist, all this stuff. Like, he got what was coming to him. Like, really? Do we not live in America? Do we not have the freedom of speech here in America? So if somehow you disagree with someone's ideas, they're dead. If someone disagrees with you on an issue, that's an act of aggression, and they're dead to you. They're not another human being. See, the thing is, whether or not you agreed with him, which I agreed with a lot of what he said, there's some things that I disagreed with. Whether or not you disagree or agree, this is America, and you have the freedom to state your opinion. Whether or not you agree or disagree with someone. that freedom sets our country apart. Sad events that have taken place. And when things like this occur, or anything that seems overwhelming, it's a good spot to reflect in your life. And every time something like this happens, it seems overwhelming. It just points me back towards faith. You have to have faith in the bigger plan, the bigger picture. Like, God is in control. I hate the idea of, let's get revenge. Like, that idea, I hate that idea. Why would two wrongs don't make a right? That's probably what the devil wants. The devil would love for someone to take something into their own hands and take out a political figure on the other side or the left. The devil would want that. Don't play into the devil's hands, clearly. Charlie's going to be remembered as a truth teller. Throughout history, truth tellers get taken out. He's going to be remembered. Very influential. Very eloquent. Probably would have been a future president, really. If we're thinking about it. Like, how many people go out and have debates with people and try to change their mind and have these civil debates in public? How many people do that? Isn't that what this country is about? Isn't that democracy? Charlie Kirk is a true patriot. We will not forget him. So we send our prayers to his family. And there's going to be a lot of people that this changes something in their life. This ignites something for them. So, at the end of the day, we can't have this stuff happen in America. And that's kind of what I wanted to say about it. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on. We can't really determine anything about this. I mean, we're looking for more evidence. Motives. Why did the shooter do this? He obviously wrote some things on the bullet casings. Transgender. Some other crap. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So, that's all I got on that. Well, another news. Just a regular week here. Kind of having some sinus issues go around out here. Whole family's had some going on. Finally getting over it. Something I've been reading lately too. It's super interesting. This book called Think and Grow Rich. It talks about all the fears that people have. One of those fears being fear of ill health, right? Being afraid that, oh my God, I have a disease, I have a tumor, all this stuff. There's a whole industry that profits off of the fear of ill health. That profits off people being afraid of something they might have. And it made me think of the placebo effect, right? The idea that there's two patients, right? And you give one of them the pill and the other person a fake salt pill. And in studies, they work the same way. Because if you believe in your mind of something, good or bad. And in this case, constantly dwelling on fear can cause ill health. And that's kind of an overall statement about whatever you focus your attention on and whatever your eyes exposed to, then that is what's going to manifest in your life and in your mind through thoughts, constant thoughts, and then actions. The eye is the window into the soul. So that's another topic that I'd like to talk about a little bit, is just if I could give any person that's listening some advice, is just to get off social media. These apps and these companies, they're not your friend, first of all, and they've designed these apps to hold your attention longer and to keep you on these things and get you outraged over and over again. And that's a profitable business for them. So let's get off these apps, okay, guys? Get your mental health straight. For one thing is true. If you go on social media, you're going to see something that is outrageous. You're going to see something that pisses you off, something that engages you. Usually for the worst, because it feels like that is the most powerful energy, the outrage. And I'm not perfect. When things happen, I went on X to see the reports, right? And then you scroll down, you see the video of a girl getting stabbed on a train. It's like, am I supposed to see, how am I supposed to process something so evil when you see it? In that verse, Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 12 through, they talk about putting on the armor of God. Armor yourself with God. Will protect you. Pray things calm down. Man, it's just crazy out here, but just focus on your goals, focus on your passions, and keep on moving forward. I got a tattoo the other day, so I'm having a couple days, no gym, no sweating, so it's funny too, this makes me think, when I first started getting tattoos, the idea of being off my routine after getting a tattoo, not being able to work out, not being able to sauna, that would actually, that would ruin a lot of my days, to be honest. And one thing Jackson Hall told me, he said, and this was in his book, A Path to Self-Development, he said that, it's not about being perfect. It's about being adaptable. So when I was first getting tattoos, I wouldn't be able to work out. Then it's like, if I can't work out, everything's kind of ruined. Because for me, working out is such a release of energy. But it's funny, that was maybe 3 years ago. And I guess it's interesting just to look back on your life and kind of see how far you've come. Now I'm able to do that and channel that energy elsewhere, right? For us men, it's all about channeling our energy, okay? And that life force that we have, so. At the end of the day, I'm happy, healthy, in a good place, excited for the future, optimistic, always optimistic. And I'm trying to think what else I got to talk about. I kind of want to just voice my opinion about the incidents that happened. And another thing. So getting back to the outrageous things that you might see or you might hear. and I think it's the MLK Jr. quote. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react. So like moving forward throughout the next coming weeks and months when things are discussed, and you're going to have people that disagree with you. And they might say an offhand comment about what happened to Charlie Kirk, if it's justified and all this stuff. When that type of thing is said, we all need to have the patience and the resolve not to overreact and let the temper boil. That resolve to stand firm in your beliefs and know what's right and wrong. And at the same time, it's like that type of conversation with someone who might have an opinion like that, it's not even worth having if you're going to be able to not control your temper. I think that's kind of front of mind for me moving forward in the next couple of days, just interacting with people that might say something like emotionally charged. But, regardless, what else is going on? Next week, me and Ben are watching the new movie Him by Jordan Peele. Super excited for that movie and the symbolism behind it. We're going to do a podcast right after the movie on Thursday in the grand premiere. Doing a breakdown. That's going to be something that I hope you guys are excited for in the future. We're really passionate about movies, right? We love movies, and we're going to just break down some movies after, and we have a format that we're going to go through. Have a couple guests. Shout out to Rocky from the tattoo shop. He's given some input, and we're going to do an episode with him as well. So that's coming up on the docket. Super excited for that. Got a birthday party for a friend tonight over in D-Town, Dallas, so that'll be fun. UFC on tonight in San Antonio. We got Canelo Crawford boxing match tonight, so NFL the next day. Sports are going good. Fantasy football team's good. You know what's funny? It's like almost like fantasy football is almost like an aspect of community. I just find it so entertaining to just like have something to root around for a group of people. And I think that's what people get out of like going to church and things like that. And that's something that I'm interested in as well. I was complimenting someone the other day, my tattoo artist, Julia, and I was like, you know what? It's like, it's hard to know what's going to force you to grow and change, but it's even harder and way more impressive to actually follow through with certain things like that. And so she's done an excellent job at doing that, and I admire her a lot for how she's done that. So a lot of times we have to fight against our own nature. The human being, if we could avoid all pain, we would. We have to fight against our nature because growth comes through friction. That's one of the best things from the gym that you can get, is that you're pushing yourself physically, mentally to grow through that friction of change. And so she's been able to do that with a lot of aspects of her life, which has been great to hear about. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this outdoor episode. Just giving you the raw talk, man. I debated whether or not I should really talk about this, especially like right after things happen. Like, it's just so hard to process something that evil. And I know what also frightened me is that how people were able to kind of just brush it along, and you see people get killed all the time in movies, TV, video games, like that's sort of thing. Like, it's crazy how like desensitized our people are to that sort of thing. Just be conscious of your attention, man. Be conscious of the music you listen to, the things you read, your thoughts. The thoughts that you have that ruminate in your mind eventually will come out in a physical expression. They call that manifesting. Another thing that I've kind of wrestled with lately is like humbleness versus ambition. And like truly, what is the thing that I'm chasing after at the end of the day? It's a question that we all need to ask ourselves. And truly, what's going to make us fulfilled at the end of the day and happy? Progress, material things, spiritual growth, development. There's a lot of exciting things coming up, honestly. We've exited summer, almost, I would say. No, we've exited summer. We're into fall. Another season. I think there was a full moon last week. Last Saturday, full moon. So that moon energy is decreasing. And September, October, November, December. We're gearing up for winter, baby. Gearing up. About to move. Change locations. Excited for this new adventure. Independence. Growth. I'm just grateful for everything that's been going on, happening in my life. The ability to realize sometimes when I'm in a rut or a funk, and all the resources that there are online to really figure out what's affecting you. Like a lot of people, y'all have dopamine addictions. And social media was my biggest dopamine addiction. Just scrolling on Instagram. It's like, there's so much dopamine that your body will get from that, where, when you're in that state, you put your phone down, of course you're going to crash. Of course it's going to be hard to pick up a book and read something valuable. Of course it's going to be hard to focus on your work if it's super intensive and mentally taxing. Of course you're going to want to pick your phone back up and get that dopamine hit. Another thing that, is making me think is Calvin Fernandez, the Marine Corps officer that I had on the podcast. And I feel like this was one of the most successful podcasts I've done. Hearing his story, and one of the things he said is just be stoic. He said the number one quality that Marines have is stoicism. Being that mountain in the storm. That lighthouse in the storm, just being steady. When all the shit's going crazy around you, seems like the world's going upside down, being steady and stoic and non-moving. We don't always have to react to things immediately. Have that patience and have that stoicism. It's crazy too where we're at with AI. Like, it's another existential thing that can cause you just to go in a spiral, but you just gotta have faith that it's all gonna be all right. How long have I been going? Solid 30 minutes. Talking by myself. Interesting concept. It's kind of challenging. You know, having a podcast has made me a better communicator. But let me tell you this, talking straight to kind of yourself, to a screen, is a whole nother beast, a whole nother challenge. So kind of one thing I thought about when I was like, all right, I might do a solo episode today was, I kind of don't want to. It's harder, it's more difficult, but sometimes like that's the thing you need to do. It's the hard thing, the challenging thing. And a lot of the times, like, I come into the podcast with a couple ideas that I want to discuss, talk about, but a lot of it just comes naturally through something Ben brings up, that he triggers some, oh, wow, that brought me to this moment. And I'll say a story, and then he'll comment on that. And it's a give and take. There's a different deal going on when you have to give and then generate thoughts by yourself. We'll say I do enjoy doing it outside. It's pleasant to look at all these beautiful trees and watch my dad about to get on the grill. Life is good. We're not victims. We are not victims. The world is yours. Our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the authorities, darkness of this evil world. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 72 will be the Him movie review, so look out for that next Saturday. And appreciate you guys just tuning in. We're going to steadily build this thing, and leave a comment, leave a like if you want me to talk about anything, or if you enjoyed this episode. I appreciate that. I appreciate the new subscribers over the past week or two. And yeah, I just want to keep on growing. So, peace.